ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Of the power.
Hey guys, Thingfishy here, and welcome to episode 2 of playing Dark Souls 3 again. This week we're doing an early Moonlight Greatsword run, grabbing our true mentor as early as possible in just 5 bosses. So we started as Sorcerer with the Young White Branch as the starting item. Don't worry about the starting area, Lizard. Grab the Titanite Shard on the chest and head into Gundyr for some parries. Into Firelink, stopping at the shop for the dagger. Now up the stairs and outside to do the tree jump. Grab the Estus Shard on the rafters, then through the invis wall for the Silver Serpent Ring. Dump all your levels into Intelligence, then head to the High Wall. The only things we need to grab in this area are the gold pine resin and the Titanite shard on top of the building containing the first Lothric Knight. Then straight through the rest of the area, grab the banner and head to Vault. Buff with the gold pine resin, then get stuck in for phase 1. At the transition, dodge the charges, then hit the head with the charged R2 for the stagger. Run through the undead settlement, grabbing the shard by the tree. Then heading right at the alley section to grab a cheeky Titanite on the cliff. Now through the Arrow Graveyard. Once again our starting item, the Young White Branch, making the giant friendly so we can grab the bone shard without being ganked. Up past Treeball's Arena and through the shortcut to grab the cliff underside bonfire. Then run through the rest of the area, all the way to the Road of Sacrifices. After the halfway fortress, follow this route for 2 more shards and the Crucifixion Woods bonfire. First drop down into the swamp and follow this route for the Sage's Ring, an ember and an extra shard. Then again from the bonfire, this route to find Orbeck. Now continue on towards Farron, cheesing the gank squad off the ladder for some extra souls. When you get to Farron Keep, go light the 3 towers, grabbing the extra Titanites and the bone shard in the slug room on your way. There's a full route in my beginner's guide video if you're not sure. Then from the Keep bonfire, follow this route to grab the Crown of Dusk. The crown offers a slight boost to the damage of sorceries, and an even slighter one to the Moonlight Greatsword. However, you do have to spend the whole game looking like you were invited to a Halloween party and couldn't be fucked with an outfit, so I won't be using it for long. Again from the Farron Keep bonfire, follow this route for the Sage's Scroll. The sorceries this scroll unlocks won't help us, but bringing any scroll to Orbeck unlocks the one that we do want. Up the ladder to the old Wolf of Farron bonfire, and up the elevator to the bridge, first dropping down onto the lower section for the 2 large Titanite shards dropped by the 2 little lizards. Now for Bridge Demon, and this guy's just a tree avatar. He's easy. Hit the legs with Soul Arrow until they break, then chain riposte him to death with the Mailbreaker. On any build where you don't need Havel's Ring, killing this guy early gives you 20,000 early souls, which are essential for this run. Pump up your int and buy Pestilent Mist from Orbeck. So I'm going to assume that you have absolutely no knowledge of the Dancer fight to make this as easy as possible for everyone to follow. First, activate the fight. Quit out, then run in, breaking every bit of furniture in this corner of the arena. When you're done, quit out and make a save file to reload if something goes wrong. Now run back in and cast Pestilent Mist at the front of this pillar, then run behind it. The idea is to keep the pillar between you and the Dancer, while casting Pestilent Mist through the wall to kill her. The way to do this cheese is to make sure you keep her aggressive and attacking. If she's attacking constantly, she'll stay stuck on the pillar. If you stray too far away, she'll just walk around and batter you. This cheese isn't perfect, and you might not get it first try. There may actually be a better way of doing this, with a new glitch that was discovered while Elden Ring's been out. I'm going to be trying that one out on a later video, but this is the old school method of cheesing Dancer on an int build. Now, as well as buying embers and blossoms while levelling up, throughout this run you want to stock up on repair powder with any spare souls you have, as this is one of the very few runs it actually has a use for. Now, there's no getting around it, the next section is going to be a little rough, as we're going to run round Lothric Castle with no vigour grabbing Titanite scales. Something you can do to minimise the pain here is heading back to Farron Keep and taking this route from the perimeter bonfire to grab the golden scroll. Then buy Spook and Hidden Body from Orbeck. The combination of Spook and Hidden Body means that enemies will have the shortest possible detection distance, making life a little easier for a lot of these sections. Int builds are the only ones where I can get through this room without getting absolutely bullied, for example. This little stealth setup is perfect for just running around the area, grabbing all of the scales just laying around. In the ganky Building of Death though, we do need to do some fighting. Start by slowly taking the firebomb guys out with range. If you're not used to free aiming spells in Dark Souls 3, I'd say it's pretty much essential for any ranged build, as the lock-on range is about half of what it is in Elden Ring. You can cheese the Dragon's Foot with Pestilent Mist, then head outside for the one by its wing, and grab the 3 scales from the chest. Now into the Consumed King's Garden, moving clockwise around the area to find the shortcut lift for 1 extra Titanite. Then back to the Farron Keep perimeter bonfire and along the path for 2 more from the lizard. Now to get our weapon, for which we need to fight Osiris. And it's another Pestilent Mist cheese, but believe me when I say this one is far more consistent than the Dancer. Lure Osiris into this corner of the arena, to the right of the exit door. The only thing that's important is getting him right into it before you leave, so I tend to wait for him to do the jump attack. Once he's in, he'll almost always be stuck there for the whole fight. In phase 1, he'll always try to walk round to you. You want to cast through the gap in the branches and keep left next to this pillar to avoid him getting unstuck. As soon as he gets to phase 2 though, his aggression will keep him even more stuck in the branches, so you can cast Mist just outside of his melee range and it will still reach him. The Dancer cheese might annoy you a bit, but this one is almost a foregone conclusion the moment he gets stuck. When he's dead, into the next room for our final 2 scales. As the Moonlight Greatsword is a soul weapon, the final step is to go see him of the giant tree testicles to grab the transposition kiln. Kill all the enemies in the arena with range, then the same strat as always. Balls and foot in phase 1, then thigh, hand, then back in phase 2. Back to Firelink to grab the Moonlight Greatsword and level it to +4. Now all we need is a Titanite slab, and there's 3 options. The sensible one is play through the main game, do Onion Bros quest, and grab one after Yorn. If you want it earlier, you could run through Ariandel with 12 Vigor, but I headed to Gundyr. Run through Dark Firelink to grab the Coiled Sword fragment. Trade this with the Crow for a Titanite slab. Now, Crystal Sage, like Renala in Elden Ring, is very resistant to magic, so you're not gonna feel like you have maxed out damage straight away. Unless you decide to parry her, that is. Now for Watchers. Run to the back of the arena and stay in the little box by the door for a one-on-one fight. A backstab followed by a charge E does more than half the health bar. The ring that I went for, in addition to my usual lineup of Lloyd's, Prisoner's Chain and Ring of Favour, is the Magic Clutch ring, which you can get behind this wall in Irithyll. The Moonlight Greatsword works a little differently in Dark Souls 3 than in Elden Ring. Instead of the buff mode of the latter title, in this game only the weapon art and charged R2 are Moonlight attacks. The L2 stab costs FP, and the charged attack is a projectile slash that, while it doesn't cost FP, does take chunks out of your weapon durability. You can have a disgustingly good Pontiff fight by just tanking the AoE and going for a second parry to skip the clones. Now back to Lothric Castle for the good stuff. So the great thing about the Moonlight Greatsword for the faster bosses is that the standard attacks are still really good. If anything, sometimes they make more sense DPS wise. But there's nothing more satisfying than hitting bosses with a big old Moonlight attack, although the tracking can sometimes be a bit annoying. For princes, there's a bunch of opportunities for charges here, and you'll see some really big damage from them. All of the big AoE attacks will also give you a chance for the projectile, which is really solid too, meaning phase 1 is just a joke with this sword. For phase 2, you can either go with the easier and more targeted approach of rolling behind Lorien to hit Lothric with R1s. However, if you're enjoying yourself, get stuck in on Lorien, the same as phase 1, and wear Lothric down gradually. If you do take the latter approach, this is probably the first fight on the run where you might notice one of this weapon's downsides. Using the Moonlight Wave attack will drain this weapon's durability very quickly. This is why you need a good supply of repair powder for the longer fights where this might happen. Now, Frida and Ariandel is a really cool fight with this sword, so I wanted to save it until later. So for the Ring City, I took the alternative approach to getting there by placing the Lord Souls and accessing the second DLC from the Kiln of the First Flame. Run through the Dreg Heap to the Earthen Peak Ruins. Our stealthy combo of Hidden Body and Spook makes dealing with the Angel section much less annoying, letting you light the bonfire by the demons and grab the Ring of Favour and Protection in relative safety. Stick on all of your best poison resist armour, then head down for the demons. This week I thought I'd show you the alternative start to this fight, beelining the red demon we want to kill first. This approach is slightly less predictable than staggering the orange one early, but does allow for a smoother fight once the dual aggro section is over. For the big orange chap in phase 2, maximum aggression. Sprinting into him constantly for staggers, then moonlights after the ripostes. Run through the ringed city, using stealth mode to make light of some of the tougher running sections. Bait Bridge Midir into doing the fire breath and smack him about the face for a stagger. Then down for the fight. This is one of my favourite weapons in the game for Midir. You can comfortably get a Moonlight R2 off in almost every gap, and the range of the projectile means you can still get great damage even if you want to keep your distance a bit. Parry Half-Light to death whilst trying desperately not to throw your controller at a wall. Now to Archdragon Peak to start the finale. Just using the weapon's standard attacks is awesome for Nameless, and you'll get 3 staggers along the way. However, squeezing Moonlights into the bigger gaps will absolutely delete his health bar. I'd advise not using moon attacks on Wyvern to save all your weapon durability for phase 2, as using a repair powder here is often pretty sketchy. Now to the kiln for Soul of Cinder. It's really cool coming back to DS3 after all this time and trying to awaken the old muscle memory. And it seems to be going quite smoothly. Phase 1 Soul of Cinder has always been a bit of a weakness of mine, and I got a hitless fight here for the first time since returning. I won't bore you with what happened in the far easier Phase 2, but I played really well in that also. The Moonlight Greatsword for Frida is just one of those examples of a weapon's moveset being so satisfying for a particular boss. Greatswords are fast enough for some of the riskier backstabs, and when you get one, follow it up with 2 charged R2s. This will see off phase 1 and 3 health bars very quickly. For Ariandel, a couple of stamina bars of R1 and it's all over. And finally, and that's it. How to make an early Moonlight Greatsword build in DS3. I'm really enjoying playing this game at the moment, so if there's any builds you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more. As always, thanks for watching. See you soon.